So what is this
Yes.
electoral college, and what kind of a role does it play?
So fundamentally speaking, very simplest on a very simple note, let's say there are 100 voters. If candidate A gets 51 votes and candidate B gets 49 votes, we'd really expect candidate A to be the winner, right? That's a no-brainer. But the US does not really go by the popular vote. So when candidate A gets 51 votes, that's the popular vote. Instead, they have a different process called the Electoral College. Now, we have discussed this earlier on, and it's perhaps well known that a lot of elections that happen in the US happen at the state level. So these states have a process called the Electoral College, where they send a certain number of delegates to this Electoral College. Now, it's not a place like you don't have these delegates come together and they sit and they vote. This is happening at the state level. So all states have a certain number of delegates that they send to the Electoral College. The total number of delegates is 538. 538. Now, how do we come to this number? Just like you have Lok Sabha constituencies, you have the House of Representatives having constituencies as well. And these constituencies number 435. Each state sends two people to the Senate, regardless of population. So that is 435 plus 100, that is 535. The District of Columbia sends three delegates to the Electoral College despite having no representation in either the House or the Senate. So that makes 538. Now, if you halve this number, you get 269, and add one, that is majority, you get 270. That's the magic number.
Okay, that is very, very clear now. I'm going to ask you about if this boils down really, in a sense, to 538 individuals. But let's just pull up a map of what the electoral landscape looked like in 2016 when Hillary Clinton lost. And I'd like you to take us through this, Mohammed. What essentially you're saying is that Hillary Clinton won the majority of the vote, but the electoral college did not go with her. Can you explain that a little more?
Sure. So you have the Trump map in front of you. Now, Hillary Clinton won the states that she won with a huge margin, and she was ahead of Trump overall nationally by more than 3 million votes. But because Trump won something called swing states like Florida and Ohio and Michigan and Wisconsin, it gave him the edge at the Electoral College. So while Trump won more than 300 and around 307 votes in the Electoral College, Hillary won 232 despite having more votes nationally than Trump. So it all boils down to how many delegates you can send to the Electoral College. It should cross 270. But it doesn't really matter on how many votes you get. Think of it in a Lok Sabha sense, really. So the vote count, the vote share doesn't matter as long as the party in power is crossing 272 seats in the Lok Sabha. So that's what it really boils down to. Not votes, seats, and in the United States, not votes, delegates.
Yes. So in other words, I'm going to ask you the same question in a different way. Are you saying then that for each electoral college vote, or it's a delegate, it's a person who's going to be taking the decision as to whether that went the Republican way or the Democrat way? How does that work?
Yes, explain. Absolutely, 100%. So when the voter is casting her vote tomorrow, or if this person has voted in advance, this person is not voting for the president. This person is actually voting for is voting for the delegates of the Electoral College. Now, you have in 48 of these 50 states, you have a winner take all system. So whoever gets the plurality of the vote gets all delegates from that particular state. For example, California sends the most amount of delegates to the Electoral College, 55 in number. So 55 out of 538 delegates are sent by California. Whoever wins California tomorrow is going to be the person winning all 55 delegates in the Electoral College. Only two states, Nebraska and Maine, are they have a proportionate voting of sorts. So you have the two Senate seats that are given to the candidate who wins the plurality, but they have Lok Sabha constituencies, similar congressional districts. So whoever wins those gets one seat each. That's the only difference.